Good evening and welcome to the Autopsy of Her, Healing, Evolving, and Resiliency. I am your host, Iris Denise Owens, and on the line with me is my beautiful sister and co-host. Good evening, honey bunny. How are you?
Good evening, honey bunny. How you doing?
I'm good.
Stephanie
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
And I see all these beautiful black faces and beautiful black
Yes, yes.
here.
The street is lit
It's
up.
beautiful.
So I'll just tell y'all right now, this is going to be an off the chain show, right?
Yes, it
If
is.
you are a pearl clutcher, you want to leave now. If you are not a pearl clutcher, you still might want to leave. Because you're about to meet the women that I talk about all the time, the women that are my sidekicks, my ride or die, the sisters that I talk about all the time that make the circle. And so on the line tonight is my beautiful sister, Sheila Richardson. Hi, Sheila. How are you?
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Glad to be here.
We are so happy to have you. And on the line is also Brenda C. Wilson. Hi, Brenda.
Hey, sweetheart.
How are you?
Girl. Look, I'm counting dollars, boo. I'm counting dollars. I'm counting dollars.
You all will figure that all out. By the time this is over, you will know why. All right. And on the line also is the beautiful Mercedes Miller. How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm being held hostage, but I'm here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're sorry that you feel that you're being held hostage, but I'm sure by the end, negotiations will occur and you will be freed. Is that okay?
I'm good.
And I'm just honored to be invited to the party. To meet the women that I've heard about so much over the years. And so I'm honored for you guys to, have me with you.
Well, thank you, Steph. We are honored that you are with us. And so we're going to jump right in. And I just want to share. So on this line, there is like 30 plus years of friendship, relationship amongst all of us on this line. And what makes it special to me is that growing up, I'm an only child, right? So I don't have sisters, I don't have brothers. But I'm always consider myself a relational type person. And so over the years, I've met many people in my life, and those of you who know me, that some people I need to like rid of life, like say, bye, peace be unto you. Like, for good. Like lose my number, right? Forget you ever met me. Or like, Men in Black. Shh, this never happened. So
Yes, we know.
right. So, but there are also, for me, I feel there are people that I have met in my life that have impacted my life in such a way that this is why I am still with them. They are still with me. And so like Steph and I started this podcast, and most of you who listen and tune in know that we've been friends since 1995. 1995? Yes, because my son was a year old when Steph and I met.
Yep, Rondo was 1 year old.
Right? I met Mercedes and Brenda in 2000. And then I met Sheila in 2007. Is that right, Mert?
Was it 7?
Right.
When was
2007.
Jalen born?
It was
Jalen was born in 2004.
And it had to be 2005. You know that event where we give Brenda all the money and we never get it back? That event.
And also, we were at a 1-year birthday party, a Barney.
Oh, so then it was, I'm sorry.
It
So
was
2005.
2005.
Yeah,
Correction.
Barney
Yes.
birthday, and we had to put on those darn silly behind Barney hats.
I just hate giving them money. We've been paying for Jalen's college since before Jalen was born.
Yeah, so they really did cramp our style, but we went ahead and did it. So, but
Right.
anyway, I digress.
You digress.
So as you all can see,
You're such a lady.
but as you all can see, the reason why these sisters are important to me, because each of these women have taught me something, or no, many things, right? From just how not to be crazy. Seriously, when I'm crazy, they will snatch you and be like, I need you to calm down. I need you to bring that back all the way, right? Gather yourself, get your life together, right? Then there are some of them will be like, you know what, woo, 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 right? It's gonna be all right. There are some who be like, don't nobody give a damn. Get your
Wonder
shit
who
together.
that is.
Get
Wonder who that is.
always and forever she will be, right? There is one, and she know who I'm talking about. You call her crying, you call her with a problem,
I'm gonna call you right back.
And she does not call you back.
Don't call you back.
I do not.
She does not call you back.
Emergency room. No, I do not.
Now, most people meeting someone like that would be like, why are you friends with her? But you have to understand, she's genuine, all the way live, all the way true, never gonna lie to you, and will always be there for you. I don't know if that's not what you consider a friend and a sister. I don't know what else you would consider, right? And then there are those who give you life lessons that they don't even realize that they're giving you life lessons, but their whole life is a book of lessons, right? It's a book of lessons, and they don't even know that they are walking knowledge. Like they are beauty, they are knowledge. They just, man, you sit down, you sit with her, and you walk away going, damn, I want to be like that when I grow up. Right? And then there's the sister who, I had never met a person who was an entrepreneur. I couldn't spell entrepreneur. What is an entrepreneur? I met this sister who was like, I've been doing this my whole life. Like I made jewelry when I was 4. I started my own. I started my own jewelry company when I was 6. Right? It's like, what? So this night is really in honor to talk about. We're always, it's the month of it's Women's History Month. And this month I made a conscious effort to really celebrate the women in my life who have impacted my life, the women who I know. I know by name, I know by life. They saw me come into the world. They reared me, they gave me knowledge, they loved on me and kept me safe. And so it's important that we celebrate one another, and not when we are now gone and dead. And, we tell other people how great they are, but you never tell each other how great you are. And so we don't do that in this circle. In this circle, we celebrate one another. And so tonight, you're going to hear about our sisterhood, our hood, right? Our tribe. And so y'all jump in wherever you want. So I'm going to ask a question though. Some of you have siblings, some of you have brothers, sisters, some have a brother or may not have a sister. So when you first encountered this circle, these women, what was your thought? All honesty,
Well, I thought they are getting on my nerves and I need to put them all in their respective corner because I don't need this kind of drama in my damn life. That's what I thought. Iris was all kind of crazy. Brenda all kind of greedy. Sheila all sophisticated. I can find something else to do with my time. I'm just good with it.
But okay.
I will tell you that this sisterhood has become one of the most important things in my life, because at my lowest point, they know not to call me, because if they call me, I'm going to say, don't come. So they don't call me anymore. They call my husband, or they'll just show up because they can sense. I am a very strong individual who tries to keep her feelings closed in. I don't need nobody. That's who I am. And they have the ability to know what I need, even when I don't know I need it. And for that, I am forever grateful to these tough-ass women. But I am very grateful. I don't know what I would do without them. Anytime anything happens in my life, they're the first ones that I share it with. Anytime they call me, I try not to call them back, because I figure if I don't call them back within 48 hours, they'll figure it out, and then I don't have to hear their problem. So
Oh, my
But
goodness.
they
It's
know
abuse. It's called
if
abuse.
they need something, I'm always gonna be. I'm never not gonna be there. Now I might be cussing and smoking while I'm there, but I'm always gonna be there. I'm always good.
Always.
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 Right.
And
So
what
she will tell you she gonna call you back and she doesn't. So you have to learn how to
Yeah,
get
that's
over
right.
Well, I figured they got 3 other people they could call, so shit, why I get to get out of bed stuff.
Because you know what's funny, Merk? Because so let's clarify. So Merk is the connector between all of us being friends, right? Now, Steph and I, we became friends 30 years ago, but our relationship is all because of meeting Mercedes Miller. Though I met Brenda and Merk at the same time, but Merk and Brenda were already friends. And then Sheila and Brenda, you guys were already friends, right? Well, so all you guys were friends, right?
Well, no,
Because of another person that
Yeah.
another woman that you all knew.
Yeah, and Brenda and Merck, we met at the same time, I believe, right?
I think so, yeah.
At another friend's house. And then I met Iris at Brenda's house.
Mm-hmm.
And
She walked in with that damn velour suit looking like,
Listen,
don't even try.
listen.
But anyway, from
Girl,
okay, so,
if
and
I could have tripped you up and punched you in your throat that day.
I'm like, this is not an
Okay,
adult party. This is
that was
baby.
almost 20 years ago. Okay, fast forward 20 years now.
You had a
Stephanie said
children
flavor
party.
that.
You had a children party dressed like a
Stephanie,
dressed like a
Stephanie
thot.
fade to
Really?
black, or
Look, I'm a full-figured senior citizen now.
Oh Lord.
Really?
Fade to black. Yep.
Senior citizen.
Oh my God. Well, I will say, so when
I
I
had to blow my nose, but
when I met Sheila, okay, when I met Sheila, so Sheila walks into this room. If any of you all knew me, those who listen to the, you listen to the podcast, you know who I am, you know what I'm all about. But I had a girl love that day. This woman walks in with this brown velour warm-up suit on and some sneakers. She steps in the room and the room went silent because all I could hear was her, "Hey y'all." I'm looking at her, I'm like, you could bounce a quarter off her ass. I was like, I don't know who she is, but I want to be her when I grow up.
You still got that suit, I buy it.
Listen, because one day we're gonna put that mug on display somewhere and we're gonna have a
We need to
fundraiser.
take it to DC.
That was.
Like I said, that was almost 20 years ago. So now
Mhm. Yeah.
the budget is deflated. Now,
Really?
Right.
Really?
Yeah, right.
Did you not have on black velvet a couple weeks ago when we had lunch?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, have 2 seats.
And 4-inch
Put your
heels.
seats down.
Okay.
Fade to black.
Yeah, fade to black.
Hold
Yes,
on.
Steph. So
I'ma
Steph,
join
you
you.
gotta know. So we went out a couple weekends ago, right? It's supposed to be a casual midday lunch. I come, I'm dressed casual. I have some leggings, my little leather Converse on, chilling. The first person who arrives is Sheila, who arrives in her full length mink coat.
With her name on the inside of it.
Cold. It was cold.
And her custom lining. Let's not forget.
She takes off her coat and she has on a black, again, velvet, right, suit with the buckle around the waist, leggings, and these little beautiful booties. And she's like, I just threw something on.
That's a slap.
Okay. Stephanie, you remember, everybody, you remember what, about 3 weeks ago, it was cold.
It was cold, like it is where Steph is today.
27 degrees right now, which I don't know why. It was 60 on Friday, but here we go.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Yeah, so that was the coldest day we have ever had. So then I was not the only one that had my mink on. My sister Brenda, that was right
don't
there.
even try it. No, I had on a jacket.
Okay, she had on her bump coat, that right there.
Steph,
on a
reversible,
jacket.
basically, we had to
leather on the other side. So
we had to put a circle around Sheila to walk her out of the mall that we went in, because some young man saw her. It was like, it was like, oh, come on.
I was like,
looking like
come on.
money. And I'm like, if you don't come on here, you're gonna get all of us mugged because your booty out and you got on the long coat. Pay the black.
I swear I thought he was gonna try. If he was gonna King Kong you. He was gonna throw you across his shoulder and run on out the building. Because I'm telling you.
So that was our moment. So
Yeah.
BCW.
Yes.
Answer the question.
You better not drop a tip. Better not drop a tip.
I am not gonna drop a tip.
Okay.
Not yet.
Carry on.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I have sisters, but I'm not close to my sisters like I am to you guys. My sisters probably don't really like me, if I'd have to say. Some of the time, most of the time, probably all the time.
I understand.
But sisters to me, and this is what you ladies represent, are those folks that just don't tell me stuff because that's what I want to hear, or they don't ignore me and say nothing when I'm off over there. But they're the ones
who ignore you when you off over there sometimes.
Yes, you do. Yes, sometimes you put stuff up and we just don't forget.
We just ignore it. We
You
like,
know that means that ain't right and shut up.
You will put something out and no one
Yeah.
responds. It's
you
crickets.
don't get a
We
response.
go,
Okay.
Even the
Call
crickets
that.
don't respond.
I was talking,
Okay, we're
We're
sorry.
sorry.
All right.
but I will say that these ladies allow me to have sisters, what sisters really are. Those ride or dies, them folks is like, oh, hell, I'm gonna whip your ass, but damn it, I'm gonna take a bullet. So we'll cuss each other out, but don't come over here because you don't want none of this. I'm just trying to tell you, because don't let, as they say, don't let the cute fool you, because I know some people on here, they come down from the SWAT, from the bankhead, and they take their earrings
Don't
off.
let me go. Don't let me get my grill. Hold on.
Look,
They take the earrings off, put the Vaseline on, you get the earrings.
Yes. Yes.
they'll be fighting, I be cutting ties, we be rolling.
Yeah,
Just saying.
that's right.
But I am forever thankful and grateful because you guys have saved my marriage, you've saved my sanity. You've just been there, and I am just really, really, really thankful and blessed. And I am not crying. Thank you.
Right.
Can you not need us when Jalen leave her?
That ain't gonna happen.
Have to kill.
Y'all gonna have to talk me off the damn bridge because I'm just trying to let you know. I'm just trying to let you know.
He's leaving, Brenda. We just want you to know he's leaving.
I know. And I know.
Her baby is going to college this year, Steph.
And he gonna get some. And
Oh,
he ain't gonna do the same.
he graduates in June. He graduates this year.
In May.
So May.
May.
May. All right.
Mhm.
Oh, that's so
Anthony,
nice.
he gonna get some, and that boy ain't gonna be the same.
I feel you that I feel you on that one, Brenda. My baby, he's 19. He's in California.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he goes to film school
That's
out there.
awesome.
So yeah, so I got like, I'm like a total influencer then.
Look,
I feel like
maybe I call you for some sympathy because these hoes are here ain't gonna
Yeah,
have
I
nothing.
know.
Bam,
I
right
literally
there.
feel like I just
Put your number
graduated
in
from
the
college
chat.
again because now I'm home alone. My
Put your
daughter's
number in the chat so she'll call you.
They
Right.
ain't gonna have no sympathy for me at all.
No, we're not. No.
But
none.
your husband's there. He's like, you gonna like rekindle that, like the whole thing, they'll change. You know,
See?
now
See, come on through, Steph. Listen, so Steph, so background.
It's just me.
Background. So
Hey,
Steph,
my
background.
My
Brenda.
kids are gone. It's just me. So at least you got, you crawl back under your hubby. Now you give him some more, that time you used to give him before the baby came. That's how that goes.
What you say? What you say, Steph? Say it for the people in the back.
Now I said you get back underneath the hubby. Y'all get back together. Y'all do that, the counter stuff. The stuff you couldn't do when the baby was there. Get him.
Yeah,
get it when
that's
you
right.
really did it. Yeah,
that's
turn
right.
that up. Turn that all the way up.
Act like you tricking off with your husband. That'll make it sexy.
So, Steph, just for background, Brenda is not allowed to ever get divorced.
Ever.
Ever.
That means that Brenda has a hell of a husband.
She does.
And we love him, and we tell him he has all of our numbers. It's like if she even start to act call us. We will be right on.
Tell him don't hit her. You can shake her real hard, but don't hit her. Because I don't want to see no mother. You shake the shit out of her. Then you call us.
Yes, Stephanie, we need pearls, because see.
So, Steph, answer the question.
Move on.
So, Steph, answer the question.
Now, what was the question?
So the question was about that you have sisters, that are not your natural sisters, right? But you have siblings, right?
Yeah.
So talk about the difference between the siblings that are your natural born siblings and our relationship.
I'm one of 11. it's 12 of us, 6 boys and 6 girls.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a lot of us. But so with my with my oldest sister, my third oldest sister, my mom had 8, and then my father who raised me, he had 4 from his first marriage. But so me and my sister are very close, but I have a big family. My mother's one of 12. A lot of my family lives in Atlanta too. But so I can honestly tell you, for me to have a friend like Iris or any other friends, it's a hard fit with my family because we are very close. A lot we're family, but it's a big friendships in that. I have the 3 of us, my mom's daughters. We came from the same mother. My oldest sister, we're really, really close. We're but I have another older sister. We're okay. And then my younger sister, we're pretty close too. But I wanted my sister to come on because we're really close, but she has some health issues right now. And so it's nice though. It's beautiful. And it's beautiful that the thing is when you have sisters and you're that close to them, it's important that you want them to like your friends. And, sometimes, I do have some friends, through the years, and that my sister's and why is that person your friend? They become very territorial about, me being so close to somebody. My one of my sisters, she would get very, very jealous. And I have some other relatives that could get a little jealous. They don't want to be put aside, from friends or whatever. But my friendships are everything to me because I'm really more of a loner. So when I build those relationships, I never forget when I met, and she decided to move back to Atlanta. And we hadn't even known each other really actually that long. And I said to, my husband at the time, I said, I'm gonna go to the house because she's packing today. She wants to leave. I just want to go and see her. He's like, what you going up there for? She don't know you. I said, no, we connected. And, you just know when you connect with someone. And we definitely connected. We've been connected ever since, which has been great, even for, that she's been in Atlanta most of our relationship. So, she always shows up for me. My mom died. I was there. And then even this podcast has started with me. I was on an incubator, and I saw the light, and my whole life kind of changed. And it was twice I was on an incubator. It was really crazy.
3 weeks apart.
3 weeks apart.
Yes,
exactly. And so she was like, what's going on? And sure enough, even all the doctors was you have to what's going on with you? And there was a lot going on. But, I was like, what's going on? This is ridiculous. And it's I needed an outlet. And that's one of the reasons that this came about. And so I really, really thank her so much to do that for me so I could heal and get better, and still healing and still getting better. But it made a big, big difference in my life. Definitely. Now she told me I owe her Atlanta because she came to Savannah to see me. All my family's in Savannah, Georgia. And I know I'm coming. I just want to tell
Savannah. She comes to Savannah every year. Multiple
No,
times.
I'm in Savannah like 3-4 times a year. You know, Savannah all the time.
I'm like, so when you gonna roll by? You know,
I got married in Savannah. My daughter's name is Savannah. Yes, so I spent a lot of time in Savannah. Savannah's like my favorite place on earth. But yes, I am going to be coming to Atlanta. Like I said to you the other day, I said I may be coming to Atlanta, and I won't tell anybody else I'm there because I have like a whole bunch.
Because I'm not fighting your family and your sisters.
I know.
They don't want this. They don't want none of this heat over here. They're gonna catch heat.
I can't take all that anyway. Maybe it's just me, but I want to ask you guys: if you go visit someplace, and okay, so you there maybe for work, or you're going to see somebody, you're there for a reason, and you know a whole bunch of people that live there, do you call the people that's there and tell them I'm here, but I'm not going to see you?
No.
Yeah, people do that to me. That's so crazy to me. Like my people come. No. Oh, I'm in New York. I'm in New Jersey, but I'm not gonna have time to see you. Then why did you call me?
Right. No,
I ain't gonna tell you.
I'm not telling you.
I ain't telling you. Because I probably don't want to see you anyway. So
really, Brenda, that's your problem with friends, right? Right there.
What?
Oh, you're so bullshit. I ain't gonna want to see them no way. See, I don't have new friends because I don't have time to do no background checks. So I might as well stay with the crazy people that I have.
Okay. Mercedes Miller, let me just tell you something. Mercedes Renee Miller.
What's the difference?
You are it is interesting. Like I said, when you meet women who you think are so different than you, right? And so women we get this title that we're jealous of each other, and we don't like one another, and then we're mean to each other, and we talk about it. I will tell you, even when those things happen, we do it in front of one another's face. And there are times that I have wanted to fight Mercedes Miller. Oh my God, like I want to fight her. And she has wanted to fight me, I'm sure. Right?
Oh, let's not talk about when you have a temper tantrum.
Right. When that only child comes out, and it's
I end up
and I'm the peacemaker. Okay.
Thank you. Sheila is the big sister protector, because these two right here, they will gang up on me, Steph. They'll gang up on me.
Sure will. So so
I have time for all that bullshit.
I've never seen that side. I've never seen any of those. I've never seen that side before.
What?
Oh my God.
You ain't seen it? Yes, they claimed that I had a meltdown on one of our trips because I left my watch.
Really?
We are in.
You had a meltdown.
And she it wasn't even her car. Yeah. She was trying to walk home. We was 4 hours away.
And
she packed her bag, talking about she was leaving. I'm like, how the hell you gonna get
that? Wasn't over the watch charger though. That was over a whole conversation we had.
Okay, well, it was still the same trip.
She had the feedback.
Okay, Steph, this is my problem with Iris. When I met Iris, I said, look, I don't like girls. I don't want to bond. My grandmama said you don't need no friends. As long as you got family, you don't need no friends. So I didn't bond with women. That was not my thing. Y'all hitches go over there. Y'all her hitches go over there. What you doing? Do what you're gonna do. I don't care. So this one over here. Well, I want to go to a book club and I want you to come with me. And I said, I'm not going nowhere and read no damn book with no whole lot of women. Now tell me what the book is. I'll read it and talk about it with your ass. But I'm not doing that with no group of women.
And Steph, those were her exact
words.
Actually, no, she left out a part, but those were her words.
I did.
Yeah. And then I said, well, come with me to the tea at church. The tea? What? She says to me, you want me? She said, first of all, let me tell you something about women and your friends, right? You don't mix your church family with your family, your church friends with your family. You got to know not to mix your church friends with some of your real good friends, right? She's like, you got to know your friends. You got to know your friends, right? And I was like, what is wrong with you? And she's like, no. But now I realize what she meant, because we have we've had some experiences where we tried to, not bring people into the circle, but, socialize with some other.
Embrace others.
Embrace. Come here, woo-woo. Then we have to go get out.
We have to throw them out, right? Because they just, it just didn't work out.
Why they don't fit?
No.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that.
No. I think the problem is we're not hard on them, we're hard on each other. Yes. We give each other, we keep each other intact. And I don't know if that makes people feel uncomfortable on the outside. But if you, I don't know what it is, but nobody has really jailed. They haven't jailed. One or two of them be going, I talk to them, but I don't really want to. Okay, they ain't gonna work. It just don't work. It just
it's probably like less is more. Like I think that, that could be the kind of thing, less is more. Like I think most women, like for me, I know a lot of women, and I have really great women relationships. But at the same time, I never forget when my assistant told me one time, she said, oh yeah, you love everybody, but you keep everybody at arm's length at the same time. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah. She said that you're very much that person. And I probably am that person. Like, it's like, because I'll just disappear. Like, like, okay, I'm good, but if I'm going through something.
That sounds like.
No, that's your friend. Right? Is she your friend?
I'm
like, Mercedes Miller, it always boasts about how she disappeared in a whole high school, right? Mm-hmm. Who disappears in a whole high school? But her real thing as an adult, now we've all experienced this with her. You go someplace with her. We're all having a good time. We're laughing, we're joking, we're eating, we're drinking. She says, so my experience with her, I'm going to the bathroom. Okay. I'm sitting at the bar. I'm like, wait, she's been gone a long time.
We got to go check on her.
So I go to look for her. I don't see. So I call her, like, where are you? Oh, girl, I'm home in my pajamas. I'm sorry, what? She goes places. Now she don't do it anymore.
But
we stopped her from doing it because then we started holding her purse. Because she would leave us. She would go someplace with you and this. I'm going to the bathroom. And then she would ghost you. She's like, well, I didn't see the need to interrupt your moment.
Because when you tell everybody bye, then everybody's like, oh no, don't go. I didn't want to hear all of that. So if I just go to the bathroom, and I'm like you, I know millions of people, but very few people know me. I do that on purpose. I don't want you to know me. I know them, but I'm a complicated creature, so I don't want them to know.
We love her.
I'm like the mother hen, but I'm out with the people. Like, I'm like, we're gonna like leave together. We're gonna be in the car. We're going the same way. I'm gonna trail you on the highway. Make sure you get up your exit. When you walk out my door, I'm gonna make sure I watch you get to your car and everything like that to make sure. I'm always like safety and watching out for people. And I know that like it's so weird, but it's so true. Like one of my friends, when my daughter was an infant, we would go to the mall together. And literally, we would close the mall. And you know how big malls are. And to my daughter, I got to like strap her. You know all stuff you got to do with the babies. And when I tell you, this girl would be pulling out the parking lot. And I'd be like, so, but it's like it's like a metaphor for the type of relationship you have. Because I'm like, anything could happen to me and my infant child. Like even if you want to go, just make sure I'm in the car is locked. So I can honestly tell you that I measure certain things like that. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, we do that
all the time of night, and like nobody even make sure you get in your car. I mean, even with a guy, like, make sure that you're safe. Yeah, because I know, and maybe I was brutally raped. I was attacked at gunpoint, brutally raped and attacked at one point, at one time in my life. So I don't know if that made like safety for me, but I watch what's going on around me, but I do that for other people also, and I've been like, I go out with, a lot of my friends was married before me. So like, don't let me go out. Even my male cousin, I ran into him at a party one night, the girl, like he's married. He was like, well, I'm at this party with you. I said, you married, don't talk to him married. That's all I have to just say. He's married. go over there. She married. They be like, oh Lord. I'm like,
Yeah, now Steph,
I'm watching everybody.
if you trying to creep, don't invite Steph.
Oh yeah, don't.
Because Steph,
don't invite me. Don't tell me that you creeping.
Don't tell her you creeping. Don't introduce her to somebody and she's gonna start giving you the third degree. Who's that?
Nope.
Oh, she a friend. We're your wife. We're your husband.
Oh please. Remember how y'all thought my husband was creeping? Everybody was like ding 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 ding.
No, it wasn't. That girl was gonna get beat up.
No, that woman was about to get her behind whipped. Then we was gonna call you.
I was out of town.
Then we was gonna call you.
Mercedes had an event was that the arena opening?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was the arena opening. Well, I was out of town and I couldn't go. So my husband took a friend of ours with him, Beverly. And I forgot to tell them.
Oh
Lord.
And he shows up and he's sitting there with Beverly and they were like, JM.
We like Harpo. Who this woman here be?
Well, Sheila, you know where Brenda.
I was like, when I saw him, I was like, who that is?
Right.
I know that's right.
We don't play that because first of all, if you crazy enough to show up with somebody that we know is not already, there's a problem. There's a serious problem.
He's from the country, but he ain't that slow.
Like our rule is, I don't care if I die, right? And I've been dead 20 years. And your husband comes and says, or your ex-man says, you know, I always really liked you. And, you know, I would really, bruh.
I'm be walking through y'all house all night long.
That's not gonna happen. This one's to pay the black.
So what do y'all think about this? I was out with my neighbor across the street. We went to eat. And so these guys, they were sitting at another table and they sent drinks over to us.
Okay.
So of course we took the drinks. So would you all have taken the drinks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
they didn't ask for nothing.
They didn't ask for nothing.
So Steph, you would have that would have been okay for us to take the drinks.
Especially if I could pay for the drinks myself. You know what I mean? Like if I couldn't afford the drinks, I wouldn't have taken the drinks. You know what I mean? But if they just happen to send you drinks, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean? If I could afford the drinks, I would have taken the drinks.
Yeah, Brenda, she's gonna take them regardless.
What'd you say?
Brenda gonna take them regardless to ask them why they didn't order her a double.
You have not because you asked not.
See, there you go.
Well, that's so true. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. It just took me in the days, you know, to the days back in the day. You know, when you know, back in our younger days when we were single and at the clubs and guys would send over drinks. So
Sheila, you think people ain't still looking at you?
She know better than that.
She know better. She just look. Thank you, Merk. Faith the Black.
That's right.
Steph, just to give you perspective, remind me to send you a picture of Sheila's 60th birthday celebration and her outfit.
And how she did. That was the okay, you're right.
Yep.
And then I'll send you a picture of her, of us celebrating her 65th birthday and how she did a complete cheer straight up in the air, legs wide, arms up.
I'm like,
yes.
What the hell?
Yeah. And we were like really?
Get your ass down out there.
Wow. That's all of that. That's all of that.
She ain't nothing to play with.
None of age stuff, and you should wear this or
no.
do this age. You just gotta do it right. Okay, let me tell you.
Do not let age.
You just gotta do it right. Yep.
And cannot do. It's about how you feel.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm with you on that one.
We went to a concert and she had on some leather biker shorts.
That's right. And look, and Wednesday I will be going to Cascade Skating Rink because I'm getting ready to start get back into my skating. Okay.
Oh, can I go? I've been watching the reels on people skating. I was like, I can't go skating. I already broke my ass before skating. I could not.
Thank you.
Actually, there's somebody that gives skating lessons. So you know, I can skate, but she has like a beginner's, intermediate, and
oh wow.
So
Iris, you ain't going all the way to Cascade. Hell, you live in Noonan.
You forgot there. Okay. Yeah, you're
Okay.
right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I got it. All right. Signal
That's up the
taking.
street.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Brenda, you don't get it yet.
Look at Brenda's face. Brenda, are you frozen?
No, she's not frozen.
Brenda.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she frozen.
She frozen.
Look at that expression.
I'm trying
Brenda,
to see where
you may need to.
I'm looking at where she need Botox. Right.
Y'all are ridiculous. So one of the things I want to share is that, you know, as you all heard, some women say, I don't need friends like that. I'm not into women like that. I don't trust women like that. But I will say, for me, I would not be the woman I am. I would not have accomplished the things that I've accomplished without having the women in my life who are there to encourage me as well as check me, right? Because I think that's really important, and that we get to see ourselves reflected in the women that we are friends with, right? It also gives you that encouragement, but it also gives you it's not competition. It is the ability to see that there is always more, right?
Motivation.
Yes, the motivation that you can do more. Like you don't just have to be this one, linear thing. There are so many places that you have gifts and talents that you can find new beginnings, i.e., Miss Sheila over here, who's like, yeah, I'm retired. Mm-hmm. Yes, look, listen. She can't retire because the people keep calling her. That's the life you want to, that's the kind of impact you want to leave when you are in this world. It's nice. Mm-hmm. And I say this all the time, and it's no offense. It's great to be a wife. It's great to be a mother. It's great to be a sister. It's great. But I think one of the greatest things is to be impactful in someone else's life. That's the legacy I want to leave. That's the footprint I want to leave, is where you have impacted other people's lives in a way that they get to do all that they can and do more than they thought they could have ever done. And I think as women, we do that for one another, because sometimes you don't get that encouragement from other people. You don't get that encouragement because sometimes for jealousy, for lack of knowledge, women sometimes for being intimidated, for being just feeling
insecure.
Insecure.
About our own
can't do that for you, right? We have to learn how to celebrate one another, and celebrate one another openly and boldly, not behind the shadows, and not willing to give or see a woman doing her thing and not say something to her or not speak about her the same way you speak about a celebrity, right? Because it's interesting to me that we will follow a celebrity, as we were talking earlier before we're following people who they don't even know who we are. They don't care about who we are, right? They have no impact in our life. And anything that we do as it relates to them is an impact on their life. Because if we spending our money, we just helping them get richer, right? But they don't know who we are, and nor will they ever care who we are. But the women who are in our lives, like a couple of weeks ago, I posted a young woman. Well, she's a young woman. She's my soror. But she was my teacher in elementary school. And when I went to my 50th anniversary for the chapter that I was made in Delta Sigma Theta, she was there. She was a founding member of that chapter. Wow. So the year that my chapter turned 50 years old, 1965, is also the same year I turned 50, right? But when I walked into the room the first night, I was talking to her and I kept saying, Miss Washington. And she kept saying, why do you keep calling me Miss Washington? And I was like, I couldn't even like, I was in awe that this woman was in this room with me. So on the next day that we were together, we started talking, and I forgot what it was that we were doing, but we were all in a group together. And it was something about how we knew each other. And then I said, you were my teacher. And she said, what? And I said, yeah. And then she said, stand up. And I stood up, and she said, what's your name? And I told her, she was like, Iris? And I was like, yeah. And she said, come here, come. That to me was like one of the most amazing things that, what are the chances of that happening? Right. And then when I posted her on my Facebook page to honor her as a woman, because this woman, you know, she was an educator, she had her master's degree, she was living the life, right? She was doing the doggone thing. She had the short fro back in, you know, she was all that. This sister was strong and powerful. Right now, here she is today, right? I think she's 65. I think she is 65, 67. And when I posted that, all of the other people who went to that same school were now talking about how much she impacted their lives. That's what I'm talking about. Celebrating people, right? Because she was like, I don't even know what to say, like how she was so moved by that. And it's like that one of those things where you say, right, give people their flowers while they're alive to get them, as opposed to waiting till someone's gone to share how much they mean to you. So
Brenda got a lot going on.
Yeah,
I think that we have Brenda's trying to change
Brenda's
platform.
on 2 screens.
I'm back.
I see that's what she's trying to do.
Okay.
But you have to, like, I know when my daughter was in high school, I think that's when a little high school thing. I told her, I said, don't be worrying about women and girls. I think you put that out there kind of too, to a certain extent. I said, the girls, don't worry about girls being jealous of you, because it's really the men, which women have forgotten. The men are so jealous of us women. They shouldn't be, but they are. And I said, you talking about these little boys? I said, see you going somewhere, what they're going to do is slow you up by trying to get you pregnant if you're engaging in that type of thing. You have to be really, really careful. And as we see now playing out amongst a lot of celebrities that are just engaged in the wrong relationships with the wrong people, and it's jealousy though. How can I use you? And when you hear the stories going back, from years, it's a lot of jealousy with husbands with wives. They don't want them to get that. How many babies can I put in you so you won't succeed? To keep you down. It's like it's beautiful to have a husband, or a lover, or a boyfriend that's going to lift you up. But I think a lot more jealousy comes from that than anything. I think you see a little bit of, don't get me wrong, but I think the more you look for a lot of the jealousy between women, that's what you will get. Let me tell you, I was invited to a party. I think I told you it was a barbecue, and it was like during COVID. So, but it was like maybe we had been in COVID for like a year at that point. So, it was like social distancing, everybody was whatever, and I wanted to go somewhere. And I was invited to a party by a photographer that I met in Harlem. I did a show there, and we kind of like connected. And he was like, "Look, I bought a house in New Jersey," and he kept inviting me to his cookouts. He said, "So I'm going to invite you another time," because he kept inviting me. I wouldn't go, but this time I wanted to go. Long story short, go to the party. So I'm thinking like, be people there. Because how many people? He says it's going to be like 15 people, big house, so enough to distance. When I got there, there was like 15 women. You know how many men were there? 2, him and his friend.
Wow.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. What type of party was this supposed to be?
It was a barbecue.
What was going on?
I think you got invited to a different type of party.
Well, okay, well, you know me, how I can turn that around. So it was so funny because the girl that I ended up like, talking to that night, and she was friends with the other guy, but she was married, but they know my family in the Bronx. So it was like funny. And then he's good friends with my cousin's nephew. And he's like, "Oh, Pierre's my best friend." I said, "I know Pierre, we grew up together too." So it ended up being a whole different thing. But the women kept talking about like, "Oh my God, all of us women are here together." There was none of that going. I mean, I had a good time just hanging out with the women. And there was no jealousy. I think you had this one woman there, you could tell that she was like well, I'm spending the night here with him. It's like, you can have him. Like, nobody wants to spend the night with him anyway. But, it was just, but for the most part, we really had a nice time. It was quite interesting. Needless to say, I never went back because he has a pool. And then maybe like a year later, he was in his swimming pool. He had all these women around him. I'm like, what is that about? You know what I mean? But it probably was going to be something else going on, but I left. So, but
I'm sure there's other things going on.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. I just trust and believe. Because he told me, he's like, he called and said, I had a dream about you. And I said, what kind of dream? Oh, he said, I had a dream about you. He said, the dream was so intense, I couldn't even go to work the next day because he lived
Lord.
He lived really? But 2 hours away from work. What is that?
Oh, wow.
He said, really? Right. So he was like, saying like, he was like, so what do you think that something?
Wow.
No.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna clutch my pearls.
Like, really?
Now I need the address.
You can't go to work because you had a dream.
Oh my! Wow.
You better go get that money, boy.
Oh, how can I help him make those dreams come true? I'm like, you got the wrong person. I'm not her. I'm not her at all. You got the wrong individual. And then he stopped going, but he was like, this guy was really wild. And mind you, because he's like 50, almost 60 years old, never been married, don't have any children, but claim he's looking for a wife.
That's why he invited
15 women
over. He's looking for a swinger.
Yeah,
Yes, that's what it sounds like.
He was doing a bachelor thing.
Yeah.
What did you say, Sheila?
Ask him what the dream was about, since he said it was so intense that he couldn't work. He wanted.
Oh, he said that him and I was making love to you.
And
yes.
Once he told you, then that was going to lead into
right,
something else. So
right,
that's a swinger.
So
his fantasies.
Literally, and it's still his fantasy. Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
Well, I think
hold on. Don't knock the man fantasies. When y'all was in y'all 30s, y'all had them too. Fade to black.
I didn't, but okay. I didn't have any.
I only read the difference that you said.
I
30
as reality.
So at 30s, the fantasies stopped.
I just, me, I'm a little weird. I never really had fantasies. Either you were gonna be my man, or that's it. I wasn't fantasizing about you.
Iris, we know you're a different breed. We understand.
I am a little. I'm not gonna lie, Iris, I'm a little crazy. But you remember Jessie of All My Children?
Yeah.
I had a crush on Jessie. So I would always be over by the studio, and but then I think he was involved with somebody. But like I was never like, the poster, the like, even like being young. It's like either I had to have a relationship with you, know you, and then we were always cool. Because I know then years later I ran into him, like, oh, what's going on? Always something we've seen each other was always be cool, stuff like that. But even Debbie Morgan, I did something with her one year, and she was like, I used to have the biggest crush on what's his real name? Darnell Williams. And she said, you did? I said, yeah, I did. I used to have the biggest crush on him. But I had access to him. To have crushes on people that you're never going to be able to see, that's like, no. I need to be able to touch you.
I don't think I've never had a crush.
See, you never had a crush?
I never had a crush, no.
They were either yours or they weren't, right?
No, I had a list of pick outs. Then it was like disappear, but I never had a crush.
See, no. I'm still stuck on you're like when you're in your 30s. So I'm gonna ask the question again. So after 30s, you no longer have fantasies? Is that what you're saying?
I was talking about normal people. I want to talk about
Iris, you already know you are in a league all your own.
Right.
All your own.
I was talking about normal females, not you.
We ain't trying to get there with you. We ain't trying to keep up with you. None of that.
That's another show.
That's another show. Because I saw like, if I'm not having sex unless I'm married. And she always teases me about that. The way like, okay, what do you say? I will not drive a car without test driving. She goes to like, okay. You know.
Yeah, so Stephanie is on this thing, right? And you know, it's a thing. And this is she said that she is going to remain abstinent until she's married. And I said, okay, great. But I did say to her, and I still stand on this, and she knows it, I would not buy a car I have not test driven. I would not buy a house sight unseen. I am sure would not marry somebody that I'm not sure if you have all parts and that they work.
But you do check them for parts, though, don't you?
You should, don't you think? When you buy a car, don't you check under the hood?
At least
you gotta kick the tires, look under the hood.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to on your, you know,
see how many miles on
bed at night. You see a smooth spot down there.
I just got one question. Why?
May not be nothing down there. Nothing.
Right.
You said why? I don't feel comfortable, to be totally honest with you. And it's just like, because I can't, I can't see, like, once, like, you know, by the time, you know, you're having the orgasm, all this kind of things, I can't see the forest through the trees. And I just feel, I feel uncomfortable. Not that I haven't, you know, but I don't feel good about it. Like, I don't come from that situation feeling like, oh my God, you know, I don't feel good from it, you know, that I felt like the most sexual freedom I felt was when I was married. I really, really, you know, enjoyed having sex with my husband and felt really sexually free, you know, in that situation. So I don't feel like, you know, try to like.
I just don't want you to waste your best years.
That's what Diane Carroll said in Soul Food. Do you remember that? She told her that. She said, you are wasting these are the best
Diane Carroll was in Soul
your
Food?
Life.
Yes. The movie. Yes.
Yes. When what's her name? What was it? Whatever Terry was dating fine behind UPS dude who is now her husband.
Oh, you're talking about in the TV series?
No,
in the movie.
In the TV series.
Oh,
in the TV series.
Yeah,
and Diane Carroll played her aunt. I think she came to visit. She was the aunt, and she told her that. She said, "These are the best effing years of your life, and you're wasting them." And so I was like, so.
Well, I think that, I mean, you can never say never, but there's nothing interesting enough to me that make me want to, you know, do that anyway. Like, yeah, okay.
I'm clear.
Yeah, I'm not.
I have questions, but I won't ask them on this show.
Right.
See, this is what sisters do. This is what sisters do. This is what I'm talking about right here. You said you won't ask them on this show. She says, but later there will be a part 2. There'll be an after show.
Right.
She's probably talking about a non-taping show.
My question would be, does that mean penetration or any kind at all?
No penetration. Definitely no penetration.
But nothing at all.
No, I'm not like, I mean, I think because, you have to be really careful because you get into the, you know, I mean, I think that it can be in a situation you get so hot and heavy, but you have to be really careful with that. But I can honestly say it's no one, you know, interested in me. I'm interested in that I even have to like really worry, like think about that. And I worry about it, but think about that. But I was seeing this guy, well, we really didn't see each other. And, you know, he was like, but like we should have, like, I wasn't even interested in that man. So I think that would be a whole nother thing when there's somebody that maybe I'm interested in. Well, we'll be interested in each other, you know.
Have you always been like that?
For the most part, I've always been like, even when I first I was engaged, you know, when I first lost my virginity. So for me, like that's important.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. You were one of those good girls.
I but no, I just feel like when and
you were
marriage.
Yeah, you own it. You were a good girl. You were. Brenda was sneaky.
Marriage, I tried, Iris, I tried, but I just, just really
sneaky. She was a good girl. You sneaky. Sheila was a church girl. They didn't do nothing where nobody knew about it. They went where the devil's children was, not the church children.
Over there where you was at, you mean on the speaker?
I wasn't there. I was somewhere else, but I was doing it. And doing it well.
Doing it and doing it and doing it good. Doing it and doing it and doing it good. Okay, we digress. Okay, we're back now.
Oh Lord. I think that's the most beautiful thing you can share with somebody, actually. I just need to know you belong totally to me. What I'm sharing.
Right. And so I'm trying to figure out why you are denying and being selfish. But okay, we'll talk about it later.
Well, because nobody belongs to me.
No, I love it. I think it's beautiful.
You got to be all mine. I'm not sharing. I don't want to share. I'm not interested in sharing. Let me find out or feel just like
you have a different motive. Yours is I want love and I want us to share. Some people's motive are just, I'm going to get mine and you work yours out. Some people's motive is, I'm going to get mine and you pay for it. So people have different motives. You're a good girl. You're like the best good girl, and Sheila's right behind you. Brenda's just greedy. She ain't gonna really do nothing, but she greedy. And me and Iris, we over on the other side in another class. The classroom that y'all looking through the window going, what's she doing over there?
What they talking about in there? I wonder what you have to do to get in that class. You're not ready. You're not ready. You're not going to do anything to ever be in this.
I loved having sex with my husband. We were together for 24 years and it was great. But when things started to change or whatever, I wasn't the sheet or the pillow. I don't know, but I just know something was going on. And we got divorced in 2018, but I hadn't had sex with my husband since 2011.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, because, nah, we're not doing that.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we're not doing it. Because it's something.
Whether you count it like you counting money.
Okay. At some point, it does equate to a couple of dollars. I'm just saying.
But no, I started dating someone I used to know. That's my thing too. I know people from like, they've been trying to get with me. I've been attached or whatever. And that's how I learned that I could, but at the same time, it was like, we're talking marriage, well, this kind of stuff. But I realized after being in that situation, he came out of a 30-year marriage. I came out of a 1-year marriage. And I was like, I learned just through that situation. And thank God I did not, marry him. But that's how, you learn something about yourself.
Can we unpack that for 1 minute? So this is very interesting because when Steph shared that with me, I said to her, why? Right? In all seriousness, like why? Why are you doing that? Why are you guys doing
Why am I doing what?
When you were in a sexless marriage. Remember when we had this conversation?
Oh yeah, we had this. Yes.
And I also, so the conversation wasn't just though about sexless marriage. It was more about what were you teaching your daughter? What were you teaching your son about relationships? Because your children are witnessing this whole thing between you and your husband unfolding. And your children they're not dumb. They're very.
My daughter told me to get a divorce so I could be happy.
Right.
My daughter's the one, and her being a daddy's girl, that was important. But see, me, I'm a planner. You know what I mean? So at the same time, I wanted to move out of this situation very seamlessly. I wasn't trying to do that. I had to, for me and for my children. So that had a lot to do with it. So what we did coupling. We bought a bigger home. He lived on one side of the house. I lived on the other. The kids lived in the middle. And we did that for like 5 years. And it worked. It was to be honest with you, it worked. the thing for me was like, by the time he physically left, it was already done, you know. So, and it worked, worked for my children, and I could teach them about, relationships and talk to them. Even when something was wrong, we're going to have a conversation about it. It wasn't like ignoring that it was happening, because they are watching it, and they need to understand how those relationships work. When my daughter was 7, she's like, y'all should go on a date. Y'all should hold hands. Y'all should do that. But, you can't go on a date by yourself, and you can't hold hands by yourself. So she did. She saw even my daughter, and it's funny when I talk to her about that now. And I asked her, she said she doesn't really remember. I mean, she was like she was 15, like she's going to be 22 next month, but she said she doesn't really remember. But yeah, and when she told me I should get, that's when. And then my son, when we told him we was going to divorce, he didn't have a clue, because he's one of them. He planned out his whole life, just like he told me he wanted to be a director when he was 11. Now he's in school to be a director. Made his first movie at 11. So he said, I had my whole life planned out. I just didn't see that one coming. And he didn't see it coming. And then he was still like, they were good about it, because we were together, like, we did the coupling thing. And then when my son said, so when y'all getting a divorce? This is the longest divorce I ever heard of. Mm-hmm. And then my daughter was like, well, Mama, you got to get married again so we can have a show on YouTube about 2 families coming together. She was all into it. It was a weirdest conversation. We were at dinner. It was the 4 of us. And my son's like, Mommy, I want you to have another baby because I want another brother and sister. They were all into it. I think the conversation went on for 20 minutes until my husband at the time was like, I'm still here. I didn't go anywhere yet. But he felt like he was all by himself. This conversation happened all in front of him.
Okay. That's okay. He'd have moved on. So hey.
But he was feeling a ways about it. Like, I'm still here. What are you guys talking about? I mean, it's like, it became a little like, he said, oh, yeah, you're so horny, because I was so horny with him. I can't wait till you get that man. You're going to get pregnant, and I'm going to laugh at you. And when I come pick up my kids, I said, well, you're going to take my baby with you so, they can spend time with their brothers and sisters, So we were good in that aspect. We're good now. We're really good,
You're a great mother.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You are my Shira, because I'd be like,
Back in your tent.
Tent packer.
Well, no, I did.
I was planned it out, but I'd have planned it out. I've been like, okay, carry the one.
Just planning out your mind.
Thank you.
Yeah, I went into,
that's my exit strategy.
A certain lifestyle that was important for my children, but I was married before. I was married when I got 23. I eloped and got married. And, after 7 weeks, I filed for divorce and I was out, but it was nothing. There was no children. It was none of that, stuff. So I just wanted to do right by them also,
So I'm gonna flip the script. I'm gonna flip the script right here, because this is, for me, this is what I mean about having sisterhood. So over here, so we're talking about 22 years of marriage and what has gone on. I've been divorced. Steph's been divorced. Merck's been divorced. Brenda's been divorced. Sheila, on the other hand, is married to an awesome dude, right? Who loves the ground that she walks on.
Not all the time now. Sometimes.
We love James, Sheila.
We love James. And even if you choke him, you just gonna breathe life back into him and be like,
yes, you
great,
will.
Let's start all over again.
My bad.
They are like the best of friends. How long you been married, Sheila?
Look, I want to do the Will Smith on him.
How long y'all been married?
Lord,
36 years.
That's beautiful.
36 years. So Sheila, tell us your love story in a nutshell. But tell us your love story.
Okay, in a nutshell. How can I put it in a nutshell? Okay. And let me and whenever I've told my story, I think I've left out the part, his part, that he says that when he met me, and maybe about 3 weeks or whatever prior to meeting me, he said he had gotten on his knees and asked the Lord to send him a good woman. So, and the right, he was very specific in his prayers. And because, he said he was just tired of, you know, meeting women that, but anyway, he prayed for a good woman. So I met him on the MARTA train, and
Wow.
and I did not ride the train. I only rode it that one day because my car was in the shop.
Wow.
And I was riding the train to meet my dad at the train station, and my dad was going to pick me up and take me to get my car. So when I got on the train, it was crowded. So I was standing up, and then the train stopped, and James get on the train. So he said, "Would you like to sit down?" I said, "No, thank you. I'm getting off at the next stop." And so, mind you, it's just a few minutes. It's probably about 2 or 3 minutes between, you know, where he got on and the next stop where I was getting off. But he was to stay on the train. So anyway, he said he was looking at me and he was saying, why can't I have a woman like this, like that? And so he just went ahead and just asked me. He said, "Are you married?" So I said, "No, I'm not." And so he asked me if I was dating anyone. So it was time for me to get off the train. Then the doors opened, and I jumped off, and the doors closed to the train.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So anyway, I was transferring trains. So he walked with me, and he asked me if he could call me that night, and I said, "Well, I'm going to choir rehearsal tonight." And see, he said he was thinking in his mind, "Ooh, that's a church going later right there." I said, "I got choir rehearsal tonight, so I won't be home until like, about 9 o'clock." So he said, "Can I call you after 9?" So I said, "Yes." So he gave me his phone number. I gave my phone number. He gave me his phone number, his work number, and his home number. So I knew he was legit when he gave me his.
Of course. That's what I'm talking about.
He's like, "I want to make sure you call me, woman. Don't you won't have no excuses."
That's why I love
I live alone. I live alone.
So he called me after 9 o'clock, and we talked a long time on the phone, and the rest is history.
Wow. How long did it take for you guys to get married?
Let me see. We had been dating about a year and a half, and that's when that's when we decided that we would get married. And so when I got engaged, we planned the wedding for 6 months after we got engaged. Now when I met him, he was coming out of a bad marriage where he was really the the one that was working, and he was kind of like in debt and all of that, left and all of that. But I could tell he was a good person. He was a hard worker and all of that. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, we started looking for a house when we got engaged, and we did find one, and we closed a week before we got married. And then he had a car when I met him, but it was on some cinder blocks. His car didn't even work. So, but anyway, when we got married, we moved into a house. 6 months later, we were able to buy him a new car. A little, it wasn't all of that, but it was a new car. So, right. So anyway, working together, and that's what has really, really helped us a lot. We work together. We put our money together. It's not my money.
Your money, my money. Right. I hear you.
That has worked for us. And so that helped us, and we were able to get his bills paid off, and we were able to just we were just saying. And then I was single, so I was used to spending all of my money on myself, even though I was still saving money, like in my 401k and all of that. But so once we got married, then I pulled it in. I pulled my spending in, really. And so we just kind of, so I was in the married woman way, trying to maintain a household, trying to not be in all this debt and all of that. So I did that. And so we were able to get, I think this is our third or fourth house that we've had. And so now we paid off our house. We don't have no house note. We don't have no car note. We ain't got no credit card. We got nothing.
And they're both retired.
Did you have babies?
Did we what?
Did you have babies?
Yes, I have a daughter, a 33-year-old daughter, and she's married. And as a matter of fact, we are dog sitting. We're dog sitting because they're leaving tomorrow for their 5th-year wedding anniversary.
Oh wow, it's been 5 years already.
Yeah, 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, are you a grandmother yet?
Huh?
She's not a grandmother yet. I said, are you a grandmother yet?
No, I'm not. I got a granddaughter.
She has a granddaughter.
You know me, I love a love story. I'm just one of those. I love love stories, not necessarily for me, but for other people. I'm always trying to put people together. I think for me, like, I guess I never really felt I was missing out on anything because I'm always so happy for other people's love. Like, even when I was going through whatever, it's like, oh, I'm so happy. I never felt like, I just still think marriage is so beautiful. I think it's what you make. I don't think anything, I have a lady that, I guess / client friend, but she is so negative about marriage, and she even said to me, well, I knew you weren't happy all those years. I said, well, no, I was happy for one part of that time, but plus I could compartmentalize my life. If I'm coming into this to work with my jewelry, I don't need to wear that on my sleeve. This is a whole type of different energy. But I think it's just great. Even with my kids, I embrace my daughter only had one boyfriend and my son has his. She had one boyfriend, already broke up. She had first heartbreak. And then my son just has his first girlfriend, and I support them and I'm there for them because I think it's just beautiful. I think that sometimes in relationships, especially like I know like with my mom and her sisters, but not just her sisters, but my mom was like, oh, men are no good and they're this, because my mother was an entrepreneur. She was she made more money than her husband, so she had a whole kind of like different attitude. But I think that you can have something, and I think there's a lot of good men out there still, no matter what. And me personally, I like a black man, and so I'm just I'm rooting for myself, but at the same time,
we're rooting for you too.
Oh, thank you. But I'm not like like I'm so.
But check under the hood first.
So crazy. But I mean, I'm so filled with my life. Like, when it happens, it happens. And when it happens, it'll be great, because it'll be a different life. I'm not trying to have children. That's been done. My children, are somewhat grown. But so it's all good. I just, I'm not pushing it. Whenever I meet somebody, whenever it's right. I think that, like for you, when it lines up, it just lines up. And I think it's a beautiful thing. It makes a difference.
Yeah, and marriage, and it is like you said, it's give and take, and so you got to know, because I know what, and you get on each other's nerves and all of that, and know what can set one another off, and so you just pick battles, and sometimes, and I found that, which it can be hard sometimes. Just don't even say nothing. If you don't say nothing.
I know that's right. Talk inside your head. Talk inside your head. Talk inside your head.
Just go ahead and just internalize it. And then
exactly.
You forget all about it.
Yeah.
And the one thing I noticed with Sheila, and I can attest that she's right. When you look at Sheila and she put in her 35 years, it makes a difference financially. Because when you divorce, you have to start all over again. You have the trust issues, and it's mine and yours. Yes. And since he was her first marriage and her first love, she was willing to give her all. Yes, and sometimes when we've married a couple of times, we're gonna give you the part we're careful with. So that I always look up to her for. Because she'll encourage us about marriage, and she's like, okay, just shut up. It really doesn't matter. And she's right. It really doesn't matter. But financially, you can look and see where she and James are, and you can say that's what it's like to have longevity. Is now they're retired with no debt, no nothing. They can just enjoy their life. Well, when you start all over again, it's like you gotta divide your stuff, and then you gotta start all over again. Right. And you're forever climbing. You get there, but you're climbing, and you have to take a different route.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. It's true. Especially would come out of your long-term marriage, but it took me, from the first time I was married, it took me 10 years to do it again. I got married first time at 23. I didn't get married again until I was 33. But I was willing to, I gave everything to my husband at the time, and he was building, his practice at the time. And it just really became the more, like, I grew up in a very affluent area and everything like that. So we were raised like differently. And, he's a very smart man. He graduated from law school. He started practicing when he was like 24. And I met him like at 26. He was building his practice. But the more, when we bought our house, he was like, oh, I don't know about the house. I said, well, I have the down payment. We get our house, whatever. So it was like that. But the more successful it became, the more it was like that thing. He didn't want to be in the relationship. So he didn't want to share, things like that. So the more he had, the more it was like, he was trying to, in a lot of ways, kind of get rid of me. Because I think that now, sometimes in certain situations, people could just look at you from where you are, not from where you started. Whereas like, when some people like, I want you because you know me when I didn't have, and you love me because. Then some people could be the opposite. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like what I see, some of the things that happened with us. So now it is. I would feel that way.
I feel, but you know what, the thing I love about Sheila and James's relationship, and especially Sheila, because Sheila is, she is, was, and will always be her own woman, but she doesn't have to roar, I'm woman, hear me roar, as it relates to her husband. She gives her husband that respect in that room to be the man. She doesn't take his pants. She doesn't try to put his pants on. She doesn't try to adjust his pants. She don't take him in. She don't loose him out. She allows him to be the man. And she worked alongside him and still continues to do that, and always remind him that he is the man. He is the head. And I think that is something that we struggle with, because on one hand, we were reared to be, and when I say the word submissive doesn't mean be less than, right? Submissive means to allow the process to happen as it should. That's how I look at submissive, is allowing the process to happen, meaning you do your part, he does his part, and then you come together and you do what needs to be done as a whole. But we are more I got mine, I don't need yours, I got my table, I got my chair, so what do you bring, right? Or sometimes there are women they're looking for a man to take care of them, right? But then they expect the man to do all these things, but they have no expectations of themselves. And so our roles, or our definition of roles now, are so colluded, right? And if we could just get back to really roles, right? And not feel that we're losing anything, right? But you do have to give up something to become a part of something. And I think
absolutely.
That's where we struggle. Absolutely. We don't know how to do that.
Your old self has to die in order to create your new union together. It doesn't mean that you're still not individuals, but it's like you can't, it's like the things that you were doing when you were single is not going to play well when you're married. That's just not going to play well. I mean, although there are a lot of people that are single, like people are married acting like they're single. That's the problem.
A lot of that also comes from the little girl that you are. When we did counseling before we got married, the counselor said something so profound. He said, when you get in the bed, it's you, him, his 7-year-old little boy, and your 7-year-old little girl. And you bring so much luggage into the marriage. And if you're not willing to unpack that, because unpacking means being vulnerable. It means you being able to see me without my eyelashes, without any makeup. You just see the naked me. And we always feel like people won't love the naked you. And when you find somebody that loves you, the naked you, then we have to trust them enough to be vulnerable with them. And that's what I've learned this time in marriage is I try to let him see who I am. Even if I'm mad, if I'm feeling something, I remember a time I wouldn't have said anything and I just let it stack up. And then I explode, and then I pack my stuff and I'd be like, I'm out. But Sheila had a good example. Her mother, Your mother was a good, loving wife. My mother, I always felt like she should have left my dad because I thought she put up with too much. So I always said, I'm never gonna put up with that much for a man. And I want to be able to take care of myself because I don't want a man having the ability to make me stay because you're taking care of me. I want to stay because I want to stay. So
and like my mother, even though you know, she still, you know, went through some stuff, but you know, she did instill in me to always be in a position to take care of yourself. Always, you know, no matter what the man might have, what kind of job he has, still you need to be in a position to take care of yourself just in case anything happens.
Absolutely.
So now, do you think you should have a separate bank account? Do you think that like you should have your own bank account?
So if that works for you, I think it's to each his own.
No, I'm asking you, like, do you think like, because I'm just asking you, do you think that's like, do you think that's good?
And actually, well, because okay, now like I have a bank account, James has a bank account, and it's the bank accounts that we both had when we got married. Because I was working for the phone company, I was banking with the telephone's credit union. He was working for the power company. He was banking with the power company's credit union. We still both have those accounts, those same accounts that we had when we first met. And so we still have them. So, but we both have access to the money, all of the money. You know, it's no my money, your money. It's our money.
Right.
So see, that's how I think it should be.
Yeah. So that's what works for us. So like I said, you know, if I want to go over in the PowerCo account and get some money, then I can go and get some money over there, you know, and then so you know, wherever I want to get it from. So, you know, so that's what works for us.
And I think like I like the idea, but a lot of people don't like to do that, you know, like now it's like you know, I don't understand that.
And that comes from a big
I mean, I do understand it. Yeah,
all the things that we're taught, right?
Yeah,
because most of us are taught to be it's confusing because on many hands, right, our mothers come from a completely different era, and our grandmothers certainly came from a totally different era than which we are reared in and which we live in, right? And so on one hand, it's like the man is responsible to do everything, right? And then on the other hand, it's like, but you need to have your own money. Well, how you gonna have money if you expecting the man to do everything, right? The two things don't work, because in the world in which we live in now, if you want the goals that you set as a couple, as a unit, it shouldn't be one person's responsibility to make the goals happen, right? And so that's something, like I said, which is why I appreciate, you know, having women in my life who will check you when you're thinking that, because I'm one of those people. I will have my mindset and I might be like, well, I don't understand why that can't happen. It's not fair. Yeah. Merck will say all the time, nobody cares if it's fair.
And you know, and a lot of women, I've heard of a lot of women say that, well, you know, I got some money over here that I don't, you know, that my husband knows nothing about, you know. Right. Now, you know, so and that's well and fine, but I don't have to do that because for one thing, my husband is very frugal. Okay, always been a frugal person, and you know, he never stopped me from spending. You know, and plus I'm frugal, even though you know I like to spend and all of that, but I have been frugal when I need. I'm frugal when I need to be. Okay,
I know what you mean. It's a time to save. It's a time to spend.
I'm not gonna, you know, we've always had good credit and all of that because my dad had taught me the importance of good credit. So my husband and I have always had good credit because we, like I said, we worked together. When we got married, I stopped spending like I used to spend. So I got into the married way. Me and my husband put our money together and we started, paying off bills. We were just trying to make it, trying to stay on top, trying to keep our bills paid on time and all of that, so that we can have some good credit, so we can get what we wanted, by having good credit. So I just have not been, I don't have to have some money hidden away, because I can get, and my husband don't care about all of that. James don't even know what's in any of the accounts. He don't even, and he just get long as there's some money in there to get, when he get some money, he's fine.
So he can go to Costco.
Yeah, he can go to Costco, and he knows that I'm not gonna go and just blow up all of the money and this and that. So
right.
I don't have to have any hidden money anywhere. And that's for me. So if somebody else, then I'm that's fine with me too. So it's whatever works for you and your situation,
Like, I don't know, like, I wonder how I would do that when I do. I'm just putting it out there, when I do get married again, like, because it's different, not to mention I have my children, and hopefully this person will have their children.
Right.
So.
And I would be the same way too, because if James and I broke up and I had to get with somebody else, I'm gonna protect my money and protect what I got, because I don't know.
Right.
I'm protect my. They definitely won't know what I got. I'm gonna definitely have some on the side. But it's and we're like we are, because we started so long ago.
Right.
And if I had to start all over again, it would be totally different. Because I gotta have to protect my investments.
Mark, you said really?
If you had to start all over again, you do it different.
I sure would. I do some stuff differently, because to try to protect my investments.
BCW, you real quiet in that corner. I ain't heard nothing from you. What's going on? I ain't heard. You ain't chimed in. You ain't said no words.
Y'all know where I stand.
I gotta protect me, because a lot of times you meet guys and they be trying to wine and dine you like they got.
Yes.
It really
like my husband, he knows that I have a separate account. Always have, had it when we met, always have. When we got married, always have. Now, he doesn't know how much is in them. However, when you're talking about, doing stuff together as a unit, we do stuff together as a unit. We sit down, we come up with a plan, set the budget, and then I just manage the budget. Like if it's something like when we get ready to buy a house, it's like, okay, what are we doing? I said, okay, we buying a house, and we know how much money we can afford to buy the house with. But beyond that, he's just like, okay, go do you. And I come back and all the details are there. So he knows what his part's gonna be, what my part gonna be, what we need to do together to make whatever it is we want happen. Like Stephanie, you were talking about being a planner. I haven't done it in a couple of years because of COVID, we wasn't going nowhere. But in January, I would lay out the budget for the whole year. We knew what trips was gonna cost. If we needed home repairs, I had all that stuff budgeted out. And it's like, okay, we need X amount of dollars. And it's like, okay, everybody just start putting it into the pot. The pot just came to one bank account, which I manage. But that's just because I pay all the bills in the house.
It works for them.
And I say, but beyond that, he knows I have money. And the reason a lot of it is one, because he would give away the shirt off his back.
Oh Lord, okay. His generosity, like the second. Oh gosh.
Yes, his family will come up and give him a sob story. He'd be like, "Well,
y'all the ATM, family ATM."
Yes, because when we got married, he was the family ATM. I'm telling you, his sister came up. She wanted to be a musical artist. Could she sing, y'all?
It looked like a no.
Now,
Mark, get your sister. Get your sister.
She could carry a tune.
Yeah.
But
she was on the ride.
In a cup.
It was It wasn't $10,000 worth of a tune.
What? Wait, roll back. Pause.
She needed $10,000 for.
What she needed $10,000
For all them
Was she going to
CDs,
Juilliard?
all them CDs I got in my garage right now. It's been in there for years.
Out of Walmart selling those CDs for $5.
She didn't want to do that.
But Stephanie, I'm the other woman. I always have money somewhere. I do. I have my bills. He has his bills. We have 2 separate checking accounts. But I mean, I have money from when I was in my 20s. I hoard. I have money everywhere. I have money, just pockets. But I have a son, and his dad is dead, and he only has me, so I always have to protect him. I have to make sure if something happens, it's an emergency. Now, do I trust him? I trust him. I've told him where 70% of it.
By the time her eyes close, if that should happen before his, he'll know where it is.
Yeah, my
You're doing good.
Guy, my financial guy, Rob, he asked Mark, he said, do you know where your mama got all her money hid? He was like, but I have it written down in the safe, so if something happens, they can find it. Because I love him, and I trust him. I trust him immensely. I probably trust him more than I've ever trusted a man in my life. But I don't know. I always felt like my mom should have left my stepdad a long time ago, and she never had the means to do it. And I don't ever want to be in a position where he don't want to be here, or he decides he wants to get up and go, and I can't make it on my own. So I always try to safeguard myself. That's my own issue.
I was gonna say, like you said, that luggage that we carry, sometimes it taints our mindset, right? And our thought process towards another person before we even get started. Right. So, these are life lessons that we learn and we process through because of life experiences, whether they were ours or our mothers or our grandmothers or our aunties or whomever. Just always think about the stuff that we've learned. And I think it's really important that we have so many different perspectives, but sometimes you need to open your luggage and figure out what you may need to remove from the luggage that you're carrying. Because sometimes the luggage,
I open my luggage with y'all. That was enough. Sometimes okay, here we go. Sometimes men are not able to handle the luggage that you have in your suitcase.
No. I don't mean opening your luggage to the man. I'm talking about us opening our luggage, the luggage we can carry, to figure out what we need to unpack in our luggage, because it affects our relationships with the men in our lives, right? And with everybody else. It when we are carrying so much luggage from past relationships, and I will be the first to say, and I know you all will think this is funny, but it has taken me all these years to finally really understand why God said there should only be one, right? Because if you only marry one person and you have this one person, you have nothing to compare it to.
You're not tainted.
You're not tainted. Absolutely. Right. And so when we are in multiple relationships with people, we have multiple experiences with people. And so every time you get with a person, you're comparing, even though you say you're not, but you are, because you have all these other stacks before the person that you are now with. Right. And so, you just don't say it. But in your mind, there are moments where you go, man, I wish I could take this from Jason.
But you could build a man. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
But the thing is, that's not realistic. That's not going to happen.
You understand, if you like something like from somebody, and you'd be like, I would like to find that in another person. but it was something about that person you didn't like. You don't want to find that in another person. It's not literally building a man like my ex-husband didn't dance. I would like to meet somebody who would like to dance. You know what I mean?
I was afraid if you ask for something, you're gonna leave something out. You know, because
I'm not saying I don't think you're gonna get everything, but I think, and then I think at the same time, you have to. It's like from one to, it's just like when you like being a realtor. It's like what you want your dream home to be. There's always gonna be something missing. Doesn't mean there's something missing the same way. So it's like maybe it's your top 4 that's the most important to you. You may not get the rest, but the top 4, which is the most important, is what you get. And I think there's something good about that.
Honestly, I don't even know what the top 4 is anymore. I really don't.
Bam. Because I think as you go through life, those must-haves start to change. As life changes, like I said to my mom today, I said, you know what? I cannot believe I'm 57. Like that is such a, I'm like, I'm 57. Like
I remember when my mother was 57.
I remember my mother was 57 too. 50, like I'm gonna be 58. I'm 57. I'll be 58 in July. But I remember that. You know what I mean? My mother had this big party and stuff like that. So I do remember. But remember, like I was adopted. So, but I was adopted, but because I was abandoned by my biological mother. But I grew up I always knew my biological mother. I grew up with 2 mothers like that. So my mom, who raised me, she was 42 when I was born. And she was actually 20 years older than my mom. My mom was 22. And so when I was growing up with all my mom's sisters in Savannah, they were already all like, some of them like late 30s, early 40s. Some of the sisters were already in their 50s. So to me, that's always been young. So I never I would have had babies up until 50, like my biological grandmother. I have an uncle younger than me. She was having a baby in her 50s. Her and my biological mother were having babies together. So I just think that that's still quite young, Yeah, I would like my cutoff date for having babies.
Steph, I ain't trying to jump in. Yo.
No, I'm just saying if I had my
was low. This was right on the teetering edge.
I got married at 32. I had my first baby at 36. I had my second baby, so I was 38. And like I had it, but if I didn't have it, I would have 50 was my cutoff. So because that's how I looked at it. I think that's still very young. You know what I mean? And my mom, who raised me, she was wearing hot pants and everything. She was 60 years old. They were rocking out. So I just so people
I could wear hot pants. I ain't trying to push no baby out though. I don't care what you say,
baby. I'm saying that I mean,
what you
these women that want babies that didn't have them because they're just getting married now. Like, if you want to go have a baby, go have a baby. I mean, I don't need to have no baby now. First of all, I can't. That's done. But I mean, I would have. Like if I didn't, I would have kept trying until until I was 50. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying so I just think that we're still very, very young. Let me tell you, I told Iris all the time, she laughs, my aunt, my mother's sister, she had about 3 husbands, but she never had any children. And when she was 92, her boyfriend was 29.
Oh, wow.
Let me tell you, she was hot.
Oh, definitely, Sheila. What?
So did y'all hear that? Her aunt was 92, but her boyfriend was 29.
Iris, that ain't gonna work for you. No.
Maybe she had a bad body. Let me say, she took off her hot pants and halter when she's like in her 80s. And let me say, she used to walk down the street, my entire see, honey, all the men was checking for her. Okay.
My milkshake bring all the boys to the yard. Damn right. It's better than yours. That's right.
I don't have to
Iris, when she was like dream away, Iris ain't gonna happen.
She looked like 100.
Oh man,
that was good.
But
James.
Did James make that?
That is good.
I'm gonna drive by. He can just pass mine right out the door. I'm gonna drive by.
Reggie fried me fish and fries. Reggie fried me fish and fries.
That's fantail shrimps.
Huh?
That's fantail shrimps.
I don't know. We bought it at a Costco. You put it in
the
okay. Yes.
I like to eat at Costco too. But like when my aunt started slowing down a little bit, and
When did she slow down?
She's like nine. Well, I think they stopped driving. Like my aunts now. My one aunt is 97. My other aunt is 93, and they still drive and everything. They live on their own.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
There is hope for me. I just want y'all to understand.
That's what I'm talking about. But like when she started getting quiet, and they did have to have somebody help take care of her because they were older too. And so I would tell my other aunt that she's the youngest one, she's 93. I said, all you gotta do is start talking about men. And so you start talking about men, she liven up, start talking about, and she was always a boss. You know what I mean? I mean, she's like in her 90s then. And I know like my husband at the time, she was like, oh, because she owned rentals. And she said to him, well, I need you to drive me to pick up my rent. So he took us, so he came back and said, you have to go out. He said, oh no, she handled her business. Just like when she had like a house, then she had like apartments on the side of the house. So the guy, he was renting one of her apartments. So when you was dating her, so he started living up in the big house. Honey, he started having money, and they couldn't. So he could live up in the big house, but he still had to pay for the apartment.
She was a boss.
She was no joke.
Like, just because you over here spending the night don't mean you don't have to pay my rent. I love it.
Got bills to pay.
He had to go. She was nobody's joke. She was no joke.
Oh my God.
The women I came up under, they was like no joke. Okay. But I think they look at me like, you're so romantic and stuff like that. Like my other aunt, and she would have been like 110 or 111 now. She was still alive. And she was a mortician, but her husband was a jazz player. I forgot what he played, but she was like, oh, all men have something on the side and all this kind of stuff. But I would never believe that. I don't think all men have something on the side. Even my mom always would say that. But that's the whole mindset of older women born in the 1930s, 1940s and stuff like that. So it's a different, mindset. I think that you can get a guy that's just about you. And I'm still there even after, my situation. But I'm still digging. Well, I dug myself. I left that marriage in a lot of debt, So I had like $40,000 worth of debt almost. And I whittled it down to like 6,000.
Wow.
So, and so, just like, so I want to be able to afford, to get married because I want to have my own, at the same time. And both my children are in college too. So yeah, so it could be good. You can have something really special.
Yeah, I'm gonna believe with you.
She definitely is gonna get married again. I hope sooner than later. I just
well, let me tell you,
so she won't miss out on all her good years.
Yeah, but I need a good $150,000-$200,000 put aside before I do that.
But if you don't use it, it closes up.
How you know, Sheila?
No. Say the truth. If you don't use it, you lose it for real.
How you know?
For real?
How do you or Sheila know? Y'all have used it. Iris, you used yours up. Sheila, you use yours all the time, so you don't know that.
I think if it's not no moisture, that's how it is. If it's like, it goes into atrophy. If it's not moisture there, And I'm not having any problems with that. You feel the difference though. You definitely feel when you're not having any moisture, in your vagina. So that makes a whole big different thing. So I just keep praying that the moisture is still there.
That's a whole nother show.
That's just not me. See, hello, da-da-da, ta-da. This is why I have all these sister friends, because they always talk about, I'm not like that. That's not me. No, yeah, right. It's all. I just want y'all to know, the older you get, the freer you get. That is the truth. I just want you to know.
I always been that.
I never came out the womb free.
I did come out the womb free. It's interesting.
No, I asked my mother, I had to be about maybe 16, 17. I'm like, well, do you give blowjobs? Like, how do you? She was Like, I can talk to my mother about anything. And she was like, no, I've only had sex 8 times. I'm like, yeah, now you lying.
Now we see why y'all friends. Right. Now it's coming. Okay.
Now
And my
we-
children,
Oh my God.
It is all
Okay, wait.
revealed. It
Steph,
is all revealed.
now, Steph, you and I have talked about a million things. You have never, oh my God, you just made me blush. Oh my God. Okay, Lord have mercy. I've never asked my mother anything like that.
I would ask them everything. You know what I mean? Like, I would, that's my mother. She always talked to me about sex. Every time I could remember, I would be like 4 or 5 years old. She'd be explaining to me, you know, how this. So I think one time I asked her, "How do you love me more than Daddy?" And then she explained the different types of love, and that's how we kind of like got the conversation. And I was like, "Oh, okay," you know. And then one day I caught them. I didn't know what it was, you know, but then as when I got older, I'm like, oh my God, they were having sex, you know what I mean, like that. But yeah, but no, I don't mind like asking them anything. My mother, my biological mother, she is all, I'm Miss Innocent. I'm like, yeah, okay, what you been doing? You know what I mean? I was always been I always asked a lot of questions. Even when I went to my mom, when I was like 17, 18, and, you know, wanted to have sex, I went and talked to my mom about it and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's my mom's and I relationship. But my mother got to a point where she was like, I need you to get
I can't take no more.
Like, I cannot.
Right. Iris, your mama can't take that.
My mother said, my mother would be like this, la 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 la.
But I would hear from both my mothers the same thing. Well, Stephanie, don't you feel like when you want to have all this that you don't want to have, they would go through this whole big thing with me, you know, because they weren't having like, I was like, I'm just not like, you know, yeah, you gotta give something up. You want to get these men. You're my mother. That's what you're telling me. And I hear from both my mothers.
Well, I want to say that I hope, and first of all, I want to say thank you all so much because this has been amazing. I just think it is just the thing that every sister needs a sister, right? And I'm serious about that. If you're out here, you're watching this, and you don't have a group of women that you literally can be yourself with, that you can be free with, but not just be free, but you can be honest. I mean, brutally honest. Like, there are things that I have told this group of women that I've never told somebody else, right? But I know it's not going anywhere. But being able to share is healing, right? It is healing. Being able to release your or open your and unpack your baggage and your luggage is healing. And you cannot grow if you don't evolve. And you can only evolve when you know that there's something different than what you've been doing. Because so many times that's how we get stuck, because we think that this is the only way to do it. Like, this is how my mother did this, how my grandmother did it, how my sisters did it. This is how all the women in my family did it. That doesn't mean you have to do it that way, right? You know, and so it's really important to have a group of women who check you, but they check you because they love you, right? And even when they see you like spinning out of control, they don't leave you. You know, if they got to get down on the ground with you, they get there with you, but they're not going to stay on the ground with you, and they don't expect you to stay there. It's really important. You know, women, you know, sometimes women think that having somebody who kind of, I don't want to say this in the wrong way, but the woman who goes along with all of your nonsense, right? If she celebrates all your nonsense with you, the things that they don't garner you anything in life other than moments of what you consider happiness or joy, or, you know, you got some shoes or you got a bag or whatever, those things fade away and they don't mean anything. If those are the type of friends you have, I'm sorry to tell you, you need a whole new group of friends, right? You need women who are willing to tell you when your shit is messed up, your shit is messed up. Period, point blank, the end. You could cry about it, they don't care, right? You get mad about it, they don't care. What they care about is to see you be the best that you are, be all that God created you to be, and for you to go further than where you are right now, and not to allow you to wallow in your nonsense, right? That's what friends do. That's what sisters do for one another. If you don't have those type of sisters, those type of women in your life, you need a new group of friends. I need to tell you that, right? Because it's nice to go shopping, but I go shopping with this crew right here. But you know how I can only go shopping with this crew because I got to work to make sure I got money to go out with this crew. I need you to understand that. That's real knowledge right there. For some women, that's real knowledge. You don't want to be the sister in the group who everybody else can go shopping and you just can buy the lipstick, right? Just so you can have a bag. You also don't want to be the sister who everybody else got to take care of, right?
No, definitely not. No.
Right? Yeah. You want to be the sister who you can. I mean, if they take care of you every now and then, great. But you got to be able to take care of people too. Right. You got to be able to take care of each other. And it has to be a fair exchange. And fair doesn't mean everything is going to be exchanged. But I'm saying fair meaning that we can all cover one another. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, you got to have a group of sisters who pray for you. Who pray for you. I cannot. 2 years we've been in the pandemic. 2 years, we were not able to go anywhere. We were on a lockdown. We couldn't see each other. We never lost contact. We never. Listen, y'all remember when we were doing the virtual, we had the virtual cocktail Friday nights? Oh my God. Yeah, I would tell y'all, people were like getting toe up from the flow up and then talking about, how the hell do you get drunk on a virtual party? Well, your drinks weren't virtual. Your drinks was real.
Lord.
You was really drinking them drinks. Okay.
Funny as all get out.
Sheila.
Yes. People was crawling upstairs. People was calling people the next day. I'm talking about. I cursed y'all out. Did I curse y'all out? Yes, she cursed us out.
Sheila.
Because they were like, what happened? Yeah, on a virtual party. Right? Yeah. We started reaching, we talk to each other every morning. We reach out to each other every morning and say good morning. To say have a great day.
Brenda, you ain't going to college, Alpha.
Yeah, you're not going to college. Take that away.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can't go to college with him. Hello.
I am not trying to go to college with him.
You want me to show you a picture of the girl he gonna be with?
Hello, now.
You want to remind her?
Going to AT, Brenda or Jalen? Which one?
Jalen.
What school is that? AT&T?
North Carolina.
North Carolina A&T.
Oh yeah, my nieces go there. I got twin nieces. They go there.
Yeah, and I told you Janelle is there.
Tell them they can take advantage of Brenda's son. He's available.
Yeah.
I'll make sure he meets Lisa's daughter. She's a very nice young lady, and she's also in honors. So they will.
Not yet. He need to meet her in his junior year because he got to wild out the first couple years.
No, I'm saying so he knows that he has somebody there to reference. Right. Yeah, just to reference.
Jalen's girlfriend gonna come from the neighborhood strip club. Just saying.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
See what I mean about your sisters? Okay. You gotta have women in your life who are gonna keep it real for you.
You talking, and then when I say roll, we rolling.
Oh, I'm rolling. I get him out the strip club though, but I make sure he gets on.
Right.
You talking. Right. But when I say roll,
I'm with you.
We gonna be there. But we gonna have to prepare you for when we roll. Right. Because you don't know what's gonna happen when we roll.
Right. You don't want to roll up in there, somebody else's underwear in there.
What? You ain't gonna be ready.
Nope.
Yeah, my son, I may have to come from New Jersey to get to California, but my son and my daughter know, like, I'm pretty crazy. They don't, I'm pretty crazy with certain things. Like, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep telling y'all. Here's the one thing you cannot compete with.
I know, Punani, I gotcha. but I'm not trying to. I'm not trying
You
to.
can't compete with D or V.
I'm not trying. But trust and believe when it all said and done,
you can compete with a whole lot of other things, but when it comes to D and V, it's over. It's a wrap.
I'm not trying, but I make them come to the table. Like when my daughter had a little boyfriend, I told his mother I don't believe in premarital sex. You know, I mean, and let me tell you, I got plans for my daughter. I got plans for my son too. As long as we on the same page. They talking about we make you get in the apartment. You ain't getting no apartment with nobody. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Wake up. Wake up.
Thank you, Merk. You said,
well, I mean,
as you said, Steph, her first boyfriend. So you really think that those 2-3 years it was sexless?
Oh no, I know
Okay.
they were. I said I didn't agree. I know they were. No, I'm not saying they weren't. I mean, I didn't agree. You know, but when they started, but at least
they don't never need your agreement for that part.
But listen, listen, this mom, she's a single mom, you know, with just her baby, her son. And she was like, you know, I got plans for my daughter too. And they both went in the MBA program and all this kind of stuff. And so, you know, I mean, I support, like, he would come over the whole pandemic. He practically lived at my house. You know, they could not sleep till in my house. But, you know, I would let him come because he came from Maryland. So I'm that person. You come stay at, because my mother used to let all my boyfriends come stay at my house. I don't do anything because they stay downstairs, but I stay upstairs. So I would do that with my children. They come, your girlfriend come over, she can spend the night, but y'all not sleep in the same bed. So, but I supported it. But when they, you can sleep in the same, you cannot sleep in the same bed and we catch you in the same bed. Let's be clear. I did catch my son though. And let me tell you, he's so,
Stephanie, you remember Luther's song? Creep, 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 creep.
Don't need a bed.
They definitely don't need a bed.
Bed now, like let me tell you,
you can sit in the living room in the chair.
They don't need to lay down.
But no, I'm just saying that whatever, you know what I mean? Let me not find out. That's all I'm just trying to say. Let me not find out, you know, and I made it very clear because they won't be allowed to come over anymore. So they understood that. But, you know, and I talked to his girlfriend too. Like, look, we're not having any babies here. You know, we're not doing this thing. Protect yourself. But he's like, I said, you're going to have sex with a girl. She's not on birth control. Are you crazy? You know? So I had to I let him know what time it is.
And
so now it's up to you to take care of yourself.
Best sex, isn't it?
Huh?
Creeping sex is the best sex.
This is the best sex.
Talking about.
Creep, creep, creep.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know what we couldn't make it home to have. We couldn't make it home.
It works best when you're older.
When you're older, so not when I was young. When you're older,
stand up.
I said it works best when you're older.
What did Sheila say?
I said you can just stand up and get it. You ain't even got to have no.
Take the dress.
Come through, Sheila. That's what I'm talking about. You creep. You're older. You're with your person, a monogamous relationship, but it is exciting to have, you know.
So now you're having public sex. Come to my house to have sex. I'm gonna call the police.
It's not fun to come to your house.
So now you have gone from I'm only with one person, but we have public sex. Really?
You don't understand. You lived your whole life to be able to do these things. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You lived your whole life to be able to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, where you want to do it, with whom you want to do it.
No, you live your whole life like that. Not everybody lives their whole life like that.
Sorry.
Okay. There you go. There you go. Stay in your lane right there. We all envy that part of you, but don't nobody want to be you, but we envy you. Brenda, yes, you do. You want to be a freak. You just need to unzip your freak sword.
I'm not messing with y'all. I want to tell you that I love each and every one of you all. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming to celebrate with us. Raise your glasses, please, as we celebrate and toast the 1 year anniversary of the autopsy of her, healing, evolving, resiliency. I love each and every one of you all. Thank you so much for celebrating with us all tonight. And thank you all for listening. We love you all.
Cheers, ladies. Love you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Stephanie, I'm be praying for you.
Thank you. I need all the prayers. I accept all of them. Thank you.